For anyone who's struggling in relationships, this is for you. First of all, don't beat yourself up about it. If you've been single for a while, maybe you haven't even dated yet, that's fine. Um, just remember there's no time limit, there's no cap on it. You're going at your own pace, and there's a big reason why you haven't been in a relationship or why you haven't been finding one. First of all, I believe if you're someone who hasn't gotten into a relationship in the past like 5, even 10 years, maybe, I'd say you're pretty smart, pretty intelligent. Because you'd understand, you'd probably be aware of how many relationships have been false or failed and have never really been about love, all about convenience, opportunity, advantage. And a lot of relationships, they just sell each other out or they use each other for, again, convenience. They advantage, leverage, opportunity, and then there's just too much complacency to where the relationship never flourishes. Maybe one person does and the other person doesn't. There's too much baggage that comes with this idea of an actual relationship. And over time, it's actually gotten a lot more heavier, but I also believe it's starting to lift. So and this includes friendships as well. So again, if you're someone who lacks friendships, social connections, literally, you're fine. But if you're also searching, be patient. I know you've probably been being patient for a while, but you just know, understand that things have been happening for a reason, and you are on your way. With that being said, I want to turn my attention to what has been missing in these relationships, why these dynamics for uh, since like the 20th century, I feel like. Why have relationships gone downhill? Why has marriage rates uh, have kind of ceased and divorce rates have gone up? Why most people get married? Again, it's for the same reasons, advantage, opportunity, um, money, uh, just kind of convenience, living together, staying afloat to stay afloat in the economy. It's more of a partnership. And so with that, we when we understand those premises, how most relationships since the 20th century have been completely transactional, there's no surprise uh, in understanding why they don't work out. Um, it's not even about cheating. Like cheating, that's such a minute thing, right? Personally, I'm not going to give my personal opinion about cheating, but yeah, I mean, it it is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, people gonna do what they gotta do. It's free will. But like it's more about the transaction. It's not really about what's lacking. It's about the what's not being acknowledged. Collectively, people in relationships, there's what's not acknowledged is I think everything that makes a relationship sustainable and lasting. No one really thinks about longevity. Everyone thinks about quick opportunities. They think about the near future, but not the far future. They think about what's going to happen now, whether it be in emotionally, or again, materially, right? Materialistically, what they can gain, which all those things are very temporary, short term, short lived. And quite frankly, it also requires these types of transactional relationships are always going to require codependency, dependency in some sense. When people are strategically using other people for advantage, gain, opportunity, that means you are by whatever you build off of other people, you're going to be dependent on people to continue to get you to other places, right? So again, relationships. uh, Lazy way to get to success, if that. I mean, you have to really you have to convince a lot of people to invest into you. That takes a lot of energy that you could have been otherwise just kind of used to make a business, or I don't know, do something else with your life. That's just my opinion, but we're not here to talk about that, right? I'm talking about love. Um, so sustainability has everything to do with love, right? Long-term commitment has all to do with love. I'm not going to get into the fact that a lot of people have commitment issues. That's not even a thing. Like, I don't look at that shit. Like, that shit is garbage to me. If you wanted to, you would. What makes commitment is and devotion is belief. Not even belief, but just it's literally just love, confidence, self-esteem. But people put those qualities into other people. They put their own qualities into other people. Maybe they'll be confident that wherever they'll get out of this person, they will get. Does that mean they're confident in themselves? No. They're confident that whatever action they're taking, they're going to successfully leverage from somebody else. That's why relationships don't last. Because people are deliberately giving away the perfect qualities to build something very sustainable for themselves, by themselves. And maybe even if they found a group of people, maybe the group of people, instead of trying to leverage from them, they could maybe even get some help from. Um, or just do it independently. It's not that hard. But they take those qualities and then put them into other people, put them into getting things, attaining things. Um, all of that doesn't allow one to properly sustain themselves at all. Um, and love is not built in the relationship, it's built around it. Because love and commitment and devotion has all to do with self. You need to love yourself. You need to be devoted to your own success, committed to yourself. That does not mean what you want to get from other people. That's not how, you're not devoted to yourself. You're devoted to other people getting you to where you need to be. And so there's a difference. And the difference is how you move. So when you move dependent on other people to get you to your success, it's going to be short lived. When you move independently, you commit to yourself. You commit to the actions that you're putting in, the work that you're putting in by yourself to get you somewhere. That is long lasting. That is longevity. That is sustainable. That is pure security. You won't need to stress about anything. You wouldn't. You wouldn't even need to blame anyone else. But see, a lot of people have trouble taking accountability, right? If something goes wrong, they're afraid now that they're a failure, right? So it's this insecure mentality that if I don't make it, then I'm a failure, amongst other things, right? So anyway, the title of this video was why I don't believe love is as big as it's not as big as a deal as many people think. And when it comes to relationships, it's really not. Um, there's just very like confused and also very inflated idea of what love is. It's very simple. It's that devotion to self, right? It's not devoting yourself to anyone else, anything else. It is yourself. It is your goals, you reaching your goals. It is you doing the damn thing. That's it. Like, it's so fucking simple. People believe that you need to feel some sort of love when you get into a relationship. You need to have some sort of love when you need to feel something. You don't need to feel anything. If you are in a relationship with someone, you don't need to feel anything for it to sustain itself or to even get into a relationship. You don't. And a lot of times people are in relationships not feeling anything for the other person, and yet it still doesn't work out. Why? Because they are not they don't have the love for themselves. See, if you have the love for yourself, then the relationship doesn't really need to be felt emotionally. There's no attachment to anyone or anything. It can actually be a successful, sustainable partnership because you've built that shit for yourself. Why would you don't need to become dependent on nobody else for nothing. No emotional support, not no financial, not no materialistic support, none of that. Because you've done that shit for yourself. It's that simple. So then when we have people talking about, oh, you're too sentimental, or you have to pour your write a love letter to people, what? Dog, that means you're insecure. You don't have love for yourself. If you believe that someone writing a long paragraph, like this is why people get so manipulated in relationships. Like if you're a woman, if you've ever fallen for what a man has ever said to you, and you're like, oh, he's so charming, his words. You don't have any love for yourself, and he knows that. That's why he's able to say anything to you, and you're able to you just fall straight on the fucking floor for that shit. He's laughing. He's laughing with his homies. And same with the man. A man who just fucking swooned by a woman's words or even how she walks. Most times she doesn't even have to say anything. She's laughing. That smile that she's putting on her face for you, she's internally laughing because she knows you have no self-respect. You have no self-love. You haven't committed to yourself. So you can't even she knows you're going to be codependent on her for looks, for her physicality, for what she can provide, and vice versa, likewise. So the relationship is already built off transaction, what you guys can give to each other. But what about you get what do you guys offer yourselves? It's always about what can you do for me? What have you done for yourself? Well, you're talking about me, right? Because whatever someone can do for themselves, they can 100% provide for you. You don't need to tell you. I don't need to tell you shit about what I can do for you. Ask me what I do for myself, and that's what you're going to receive. Those types of relationships are built on sustainability, longevity. Simple. Did I say anything about love? That is love. That's the thing. Love is not some corny little romantic TV hopeless romantic shit bullshit. It's not that. It's really not that. It never needed to be that. And so while everyone's talking about, oh, I have no love, I'm thinking that I'm tough, I'm this. Okay, okay, buddy. Okay, because people who say that they're in high places, and once you know this, people who say I ain't got no love, I don't love that bitch, da 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 da, I don't love that nigga, da da da. But they're somewhere, they got a lot of this, they got a lot of things. Maybe they're in high status. That tells you exactly what type of relationships that they have with themselves. They just use people. So once you know this and someone tells you that shit, you can dodge a bullet. You're cool. You're good. You know they're codependent. And you're not. You're independent, right? So you ain't got no business really messing with somebody like that. You'll never get played either. If you want to mess with them like that, you can. If you want them to be codependent on you, you can. And you won't have to worry about a damn thing because you've been focused on yourself. You've been locked in with yourself. You've been devoted to yourself. You've been giving yourself out self-love. And again, it's not a corny thing. I'm so tired of hearing that shit. Niggas and bitches always talking about, oh, love, you love this. You're weak. Love is weak. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, bro, if you don't have self love is literally tied to your entire everything, your foundation. If you don't have that, you're codependent. You rely on somebody else's mama. You're relying on somebody else's grandmother. You're relying on someone else's baby daddy. You're relying on everybody else. So I, I don't give a fuck what anyone really got to say, right? So again, you know, love isn't really not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not about pouring out your emotions or anything like that. That's the biggest misconception. That comes from people who, again, they don't know what love is. They don't love themselves. That's it. They in their head, they can't even say those words without feeling corny because in their own mind, they think of like hella stupid ass shit. They think of like woman and flowers and shit. Like, oh, self love. What the fuck is that bullshit? Okay, bro. Like, it's not all right. Love's not for you. All right, bro. All right. Anyway, so yeah. Uh, tap in, tap in, tap in. Stay. Just, just know these things. All right, and yeah, yeah. All right.